Formula One seems to be changing right in front of our very eyes, and in the next few years some big changes are going to be coming into the sport and probably change the face of the sport forever, and the history of the sport that we knew when we were coming into it has completely changed altogether. You know, there are some big engine regulation changes coming in the next few years. Are some old faces going to be leaving? Hamilton, Vettel, are they going to be in Formula 1 in the next few years? Who knows? Some new teams coming in, there's been rumours about that. Some new tyres as well, that's big in the news at the moment. And you know, obviously some old tracks as well, you know, coming and going, one of which we're going to be mentioning in this episode. So before I get into this episode, I'm just going to let you know that we have said before about our new subscriber target that we've got for the well, up until the 2019 British Grand Prix. It's at 550 is our target. If we can get there before the British Grand Prix weekend, which we are going to, in case we haven't mentioned already, which I believe we have. So obviously I think we're about 20 odd subscribers away from that, so obviously that will be very good if we can actually get there. So if you are new around here, then please subscribe as well if you do like what you see around here. And another big change that you've probably seen, on the subject of big changes for that, is that Lyle isn't with us. He's not going to be with us for the next couple of episodes. The reviews that you're going to see I'm going to be doing, I think Monaco's only review I'm doing on my own. Well, we all do it on our own, but I don't think I'm going to have any feedback from Lyle. And obviously then the other debate shows, Lyle isn't going to be in with us for them. I'll let him explain why he's been away when he comes back from where he's been. It is pretty neat, I'm not going to lie. But for the time being, it's just going to be me talking to you guys, giving all my opinions only, and obviously I'll be listening to your some opinions in the comment section below and on Twitter as well. Obviously our ads on social media are down below if you want to get interacting with us. So as you can see by the title, we're going for a kind of a very strange topic, a topic that I didn't really think I would be talking about this week, because as you already know, Lyle's not with us as well, so we kind of like talk between ourselves as to what topic we're going to be talking about this week. And obviously it's just been me on my own, so I've just had to like kind of think of a topic on myself. I did have one topic that I was going to be talking about, but now completely, so that's just completely gone now. I'm now going to be talking about something else, which is the news or the report that TOTO WOLFF, the team principal of Mercedes, could become the CEO of Formula 1, which is currently in the position of American businessman and multi-billionaire Chase Carey. Now, they came into the sport, I think it was about I think it was for the 2017 season when they fully took over Bernie Ecclestone. They came into the sport, planned some, you know, big changes into the sport. They've made some good changes and they made some bad changes. Some good changes, you could say, alright, the Vietnam Grand Prix coming in, yeah, alright, I'm not a big fan of I'm not really bothered about new Grand Prix, as like I said in the last episode. I'm not bothered if a Grand Prix comes or goes, as long as they keep the big four, one of which has been officially confirmed. Monza is staying on the calendar, so I am pretty pleased about that. And obviously there's another race, as like I said at the start, that I'm going to mention in this episode, and obviously probably the most controversial change that they made is the logo, some of which that, you know, the fans aren't really taking to liking still, whereas like myself and probably Lyle, you know, we're not bothered by it now. I'm used to the logo, to be honest with you. We're still, as like I said to other people as well on Twitter, we still come to the races, we still watch it on YouTube, on Sky or on the TV or wherever you want to watch it. We'll still go to the races, we still support the sport. Quite a mouthful there, I know. So yes, obviously just back onto the topic there, TOTO WOLFF could become the CEO of Formula 1. Now this is a very strange headline to say, because judging from the fact that the Mercedes are currently going through probably their best phase ever. 5 World Drivers' Championships, 5 Constructors' Championships off the bounce. You know, TOTO WOLFF has done absolute bits since he came into the sport. I think it was for the 2013 season, at the start of 2013, and that, at the same time, that's when they got Niki Lauda and some other big names as well. Obviously, the biggest one being Lewis Hamilton, and that was when it kind of like this dodgy relationship between Ross Brawn and TOTO WOLFF kind of began, because when TOTO came in, Ross Brawn was kind of like ousted away from the sport, almost like shoved to the side, if you like. Obviously went away from the sport, took about, I think about 2-3 years break. He said fishing he was doing, came back to, you know, to a very high role in Formula 1 when they took over. So I seen this headline on racefans.net. Go and check them out if you haven't already. That, you know, really good website, really reliable sources, and that's why I'm mentioning this, well, one of their headlines. in this topic. Everyone's talking about it at the moment. So Toto Wolff's contract currently runs out at Mercedes at the end of 2020. So does the contract of Chase Carey, who is obviously the CEO of Formula One. His contract runs out at the end of 2020. So there's been reports circulating that there's going to be a change, like there has been. I think there are reports close or in within the Liberty Media group that Chase Carey will step down once his contract runs out. So there's going to be a vacation or a vacancy, if you like, for a new CEO. But who's that person going to be? Well, everyone's going for Toto Wolff because he is a businessman. He's got shares in Mercedes. I think he owns 30% of the Mercedes Formula One team, and I think Niki Lauda has 10%, so it's a combination of 40%. Brilliant maths, I know. And now there has been reports close into Mercedes that he is looking to, looking into the future. I think when this has been mentioned back in Baku in the last round, he didn't really deny that he was looking to extend his contract, and he was saying that he was considering his options for the future. So my opinions on this as of now is, I think Toto Wolff has done, as like I said, he's done absolutely amazing at Mercedes. 5 world championships, in both drivers and constructors. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, why would he want to leave? Why would he want to leave Mercedes when they're going through this amazing period? He's guiding them from nothing really, if you like. Well, they were there or thereabouts, but they were pretty much a stable midfield team to a top team where he's kept go. I think they went through 2 regulation changes, and they haven't moved from the top. And that for me is just superb. I mean, the team's all organised. They don't seem to be, battering an eyelid. They're just so stable and so glued together that they literally just can't break them. It's going to take something, incredible to break Mercedes, to break the management. And this could be one of those things. And I will say this as well to a couple of other people as well, because if you're just constantly winning all the time, sometimes you kind of get a bit bored, and it's like, I want to do something else. And in this, what Toto Wolff could be thinking in terms of considering his future, because he's going to be thinking, right, time's getting on a bit. I've won what I have to. I've won what I've done really. I've won drivers. I've won tyre constructors with my team. What else can I go and do? Probably the next step up from that is being, a big name in the management of Formula One. Ross Brawn has done it, as I said. Jean Todt runs for the FIA. He's done it. There has been some people that have been in management of Formula One teams rather, and then have took a step up into the background of the actual the background goings on of Formula One. So I think if Toto Wolff was to come into Chase Carey's shoes, rather, then I think it would be good. Don't get me wrong, because a lot of people haven't taken a liking to Chase Carey since they've came. Some do, some don't. It depends who you are. But I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and Facebook that aren't really big fans of him, and they are liking the fact that Toto Wolff could become, seeing the day-to-day running of Formula One. So let's say Toto Wolff does become, the CEO of Formula One. He is in charge. He calls the shots. He says what goes. Will the sport change? And I believe it will. And I believe that he'll have a better understanding as to how the sport will run, because I know Formula One is a business. Bernie Ecclestone used to work in with the teams back in the 60s and 70s with Brabham, of course, worked his way up and eventually took the role of Formula One altogether, and he's guided it through some amazing eras, some good, some bad. When he did sell the sport to Liberty Media, he done what he had to do. He was credited for his actions of what he did, for his legacy for the sport, because the sport wouldn't be here today without Bernie Ecclestone. So he took it over at Chase Carey, a businessman who's obviously got shares in in television over in America. Coming from that, from a background of no Formula One altogether, it was always going to be a risk. It was always going to be a risk. I think a lot of people did highlight that fact that, right, there's no motorsport background with him whatsoever. There's a lot of confusion, and a lot of people didn't really put their trust into Chase to kind of take the sport forward to where it needed to go. And to be fair, a lot of people again still don't have that trust. Me personally, I did at the start, but I don't at the moment, because there seem to be teams want to be dropping out as well. The sponsors don't seem to be want to be coming to Formula One. They seem to be going to Formula E or other forms of motorsports. So there is a bit of as I said before, Formula One is a dying sport, and it still is now. And we need something to a eureka moment to kind of to literally get the sport back on its feet and get going again. And Toto Wolff, minded his knowledge and everything, he actually can become the man to do that. But will he want to take that responsibility? Will he want to take that risk of potentially, but we all say that Toto Wolff is a really, really good man management, good businessman, but this could be the point where he just completely collapses and just absolutely fails altogether. But obviously we shouldn't be thinking like that, but that could potentially happen. And that's a risk that Toto Wolff might be like, I don't really want to do. I'm pretty much comfortable as to where I'm at, sitting here in charge of Mercedes, seeing the day-to-day run. I'm just pretty happy where I am, because at the moment I can't see anything going wrong at Mercedes. But if he was to go there, it might work, it might not. But I personally think that it will work. He knows what's wrong with the sport. He knows what the sport needs. Sponsors, of course, new teams, European races, perhaps. Keep the main guys on the calendar. Silverstone, is that staying or staying? Is that staying or going? Who knows? Monza officially confirmed. Belgium, still under a bit of uncertainty about the future as well. And of course the Brazilian Grand Prix, which is I will mention later on in the episode. And I think that yes, Toto Wolff will bring some new ideas. Will bring some new ideas as well. I think he could hopefully become the right person to be able to take the sport forward, because personally, like I said, Chase Carey, I don't have that much trust in him at this present time. Another factor that was said that why Toto Wolff could be stepping down was the CEO of Mercedes, Dieter Zech, is actually stepping down at the end of this month. Obviously, that is the guy with the big moustache, the white moustache, which you've probably seen in the back of the garage. If you don't know who that guy is, and he's been a big influence on Mercedes, on the rise of Mercedes in Formula One. I think obviously he's like one of the key figures in the sport. Very, very iconic as well. Obviously with his white moustache, if you like. He's going to be stepping down with immediate effect. So the guy coming in to replace Dieter is Ola Hallinas, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who is currently the head of group research and Mercedes-Benz car development. Again, quote from racefans.net. And there's been reports deep within Mercedes that these two, Ola and Toto, don't have a really good relationship, and this could be again another fact that why Toto Wolff could be leaving, because he doesn't want you do not want to work with a guy who you don't like or don't necessarily get on with, because communication is key. And let's say obviously this guy's going to go and this guy's coming in, Ola's coming, obviously Dieter gone, Ola coming in, Hallinas coming in, and this could literally shake the foundations of Mercedes, and Mercedes Formula 1 team could literally just crumble beneath it if these two don't get along, the big head guys in the sport. And obviously one of the big things as well that's coming in 2021 is this new budget that's going to be making it a bit easier for the prize money to be distributed between the 10 teams, potentially more if more do come in between now and 2021. Mercedes aren't a fan of this. They think it's just going to ruin the sport altogether. It's going to ruin themselves. There's like, well, what's the point and all that, because they get the most money, or the majority of most money anyway. So why would you be why on earth would you be satisfied if you're going to get a massive pay cut from Formula 1? So you are going to protest. The smaller teams will benefit from this, but the bigger teams like Mercedes and Ferrari, who are also protesting, will not stand for this. So, and again, this is putting their future into jeopardy. And does Toto Wolff want to be a part of this? Absolutely not. He wants to be in a stable environment where he's trusted, where he can trust the guys around him, and he'll want to. Yes, he will obviously want to go and see Mercedes forward, with the right guys ahead. He'll want Mercedes to go on to win 10, 15, even 20 constructors championships as long as the team want him there, which I personally believe he does. He's well organised, he's well mannered, he's good with the media, he says the right things at the right time. He's a good man, and I think that role for him in Formula 1 CEO would be perfect. Now again, this story really come from reports in this one is actually a bit of a niche one, if you like, if you want to say that, where there's a couple of people who are involved with Ferrari, who are in with Formula 1 hierarchy, who could potentially stop Toto Wolff coming in as manager should he actually want to be in CEO. And they're saying that because he's worked with Mercedes and these Ferrari guys, if they say no, then Toto Wolff can't be in the seat. Everyone has to agree that that CEO has to be in place. It's a very complicated system, one that I'm going to probably look into eventually, so I've got a better understanding should this actually go ahead. So yes, obviously these guys Ferrari, they wouldn't want to see a guy at Mercedes coming in and running the show. However, that for me, that little story is just one that I think people are just taking from a little chunk of a story and just trying to make it into a bigger story. Because why on earth would they be bothered about a former Mercedes guy coming in to run the sport when he's got no involvement with the team anymore? It's not going to affect their team at all. So I'm a bit confused by that. But on that side, you could say, right, he could become a little bit more biased towards Mercedes than Ferrari, because you'll have involvement with Mercedes, you'll have, you know, guys in Mercedes. You could prioritise Mercedes, but Ferrari have been like that in some way with the, you know, with John Todd, if you like. Controversial, I know, but I'm just saying that. So you know, that could potentially happen in the future. But this isn't the first time that we've had a team principal linked with the day-to-day running of Formula One. If you remember, switching my back to, I think it was about 2013, I want to say about mid-2013, when reports were circulating that Bernie Ecclestone could step down as chairman of Formula One, of CEO of Formula One, and the guy replacing him would have been Christian Horner. He was linked with replacing Bernie Ecclestone should he step down at some point in the future. And Christian kind of dismissed those rumours immediately and just says, well, it's not for me, I'm happy where I'm at, I'm happy with Red Bull, I want to be a part of Red Bull as long as I can. And that was pretty much the end of that, whitewashed or whatever. But these ones, I believe more so, and I believe that this has got more of a realistic aim, you know, happening if Toto Wolff does become, you know, into the sport. He's got businesses elsewhere. As I said, he's a businessman. He studied business when he was at college and university, or wherever he went to in his hometown. I think it was Switzerland or Austria. I think he grew up in. So he obviously he knows how the economics of business works. So again, as I said, it would be brilliant for this role, but it just depends whether he actually wants to take the risk, and a bit of a gamble really, and actually go and deal with a big pressure at Mercedes, to even more pressure of not running just Mercedes but the entirety of the grid. Make sure everything is in check, and make sure everything that, you know, that the fans are going to be on side. So yes, that's pretty much my information about that. My personal opinion. Would I want to see Toto Wolff in the hot seat at Formula One? Yes, I absolutely would. Would I think it will happen? I doubt it. I really do doubt it. I'm not too sure about this one, because, as like I said, there are reports that, alright, the change of management at Mercedes could, you know, hinder their prospect in Formula One in the future. Their championships could be gone. Well, future championships anyway. They could slide down the grid, and Toto Wolff wouldn't want to be a part of that. But at the same time, you could say, right, well, Toto Wolff might want to create a legacy at Mercedes. One day, maybe take over the team, should the team want to fall out, because they have got a new venture in Formula E. Then again, I suppose that could be another venture that Toto Wolff might want to go to, because his wife is team principal, Susie Wolff. I think is it Venturi? I think that's the team, Venturi, where Fleetwood Master drives. And that's where she is. So why wouldn't he want to go into Formula E when Mercedes enter the sport? I think it's next season in 2019, 2020. I think that's when they enter. At the end, I think it's at the end of this year when the new season will start, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe about November, December time, the 2019-2020 season will start. So Mercedes are going into there, and that's where this Ola Hallinas guy is key. He's very keen on electrical power and electrical, harvesting, electrical kind of like saving the universe, if you like, or saving the earth. He believes that electric power is the way forward. So he's going to probably have one eye on Formula E more so than Formula One. And Toto Wolff wouldn't really want that. But if he does see a future in Formula E, I can't see why Toto Wolff wouldn't want to go and jump ship from Formula One to Formula E. Unlikely, but not impossible, if you know what I mean. Obviously, let us know your opinions in the comment section below about this. Do you think Toto Wolff would jump ship to Formula One, to the Formula One hierarchy? Do you think it's a good decision? If he does so, will it affect the sport in any way? Will Mercedes, go from like top to bottom, if you like? Maybe not top to bottom, but top from and drop drastically. Who would take charge of Mercedes? That's a good question. That's a question I literally have no answer to be honest with you. Christian Horner, perhaps? Stefano Domenicali? Martin Whitmarsh? Let's get the old boys back. Eddie Jordan, there's the guy for it. No, I'm only kidding. Claire Williams? No, let's not go down that route. I'm only kidding, by the way. So yes, loads of questions to answer. Let us know your opinions in the comments section below. So normally by now I'm asking Lal his opinions, he's given his thoughts, but obviously he's not with us this week. So I have got you guys to bring us your questions, or your opinions rather, about this certain topic. Only 2 of you have got back to us as well. A bit disappointing this week, guys. You're normally absolutely on top, bang, form this, well, when it comes to like answering questions or asking your opinions as well. So I hope for better next time. I do hope for better next time, because I'm gonna need the support, because I'm on my own. I'm on my Todd. You know what I mean? Just come and keep us company as well. Obviously, social media below us on screen, or below me rather, not us, because there's just me here. Below screen, we normally just tweet about Monday, Tuesday, roughly, whenever we're going to create a topic or we need your opinion on a topic. Maybe a bit later during the week, but if you go and follow us on our social media as well, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you should see some posts there. And yeah, so obviously just keep up to date with us on social media. But a couple of guys did get back to us, like I did say. At Galactic says he'll probably talk about how in bad shape F1 is compared to the other series, whilst other series struggle to get sponsors and full car counts, or pretty much falls, and F1 makes millions in revenue. Formula 1 is kind of like, it is struggling to bring in the big kind of sponsors, as I did say a bit early in the episode. That's something that Toto Wolff needs to address quite quickly, because we used to have the big sponsors. It used to always go to Formula 1, now it's going elsewhere because the cost of Formula 1 is too high. And on another thing as well, is that teams are being quite, they're being put off by Formula 1. Like Porsche's going into Formula E next season, the same time as Mercedes. Why can't they come into Formula 1? BMW having a more involvement in Formula E than not in Formula 1. Jaguar used to be in Formula 1, now in Formula E. So there's loads of big car manufacturers that should be in Formula 1 and now in other series of motorsport, not just Formula E, DTM, touring cars, rally, whatever. We want to have the biggest and best car companies in the sport, as well as some other manufacturing teams as well, like obviously the likes of Williams, Sauber, Alfa Romeo, if you want to call them that, Toro Rosso, Red Bull, some other teams that aren't car manufacturers but can have a big impact to the sport, like what Red Bull have done in the past. And yes, obviously, yes, he will know how bad in shape F1 is. But that's pretty much the question. Will he be the man to correct that? So gladly, if you are watching this, comment down below. Do you think he is? Do you think he will be the right man to take the sport forward and get it out of this bad spell that it's in right now? And obviously, you guys as well answer that question in the comment section below. Another question another opinion rather, that was brought in by @F1 Noob, good name. He says, I kind of hope so. Might give other teams a chance. Aside from that, Toto is a racer, and I think he'll do much better than those American businessmen like Chase Carey. So again, a guy who's probably not a fan of Chase Carey and the way how he runs things in Formula 1. Yes, Toto Wolff, he is a racer. He used to race back in the day when he was younger. Obviously, that was whitewashed. Excuse me. That was never going to happen. Went into business, came back, went up the ranks in Formula 1, and now look at where he has. He succeeded so much. He's done so much within the sport. I would say, is he a legend? I would say he is. I think if he was to walk away from the sport, you could see how well he's actually got the team organised and how he's got this amazing team around him. Similar to what Ferrari had when Ferrari was building up, when they had De Montezemolo in, then they had Schumacher in, then they had Jean Todt, Ross Brawn, a good designer in. They got all these guys together and built a superpower of a team. Mercedes have done the exact same. They've got two of the best drivers in my opinion. Lewis Hamilton, definitely. Valtteri Bottas is showing that. Some brilliant engineers, obviously James Vowles, famously, Pete Bonington as well, Bono, and obviously Niki Lauda. Get well soon, Niki. Yes, he is still recovering from his operation that he had. Hopefully, he will be back in the paddock very soon. And of course, Toto Wolff, big factor in Formula 1, big factor within the team. And yes, I do have faith in Toto Wolff, but again, I'm not too sure about this one as well. I don't know if he will actually make the jump to the big time in Formula 1. But as I said, let me know your opinions, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. For the past couple of weeks, Formula 1 circuits have been big in the news, some for the right reasons and some for the wrong reasons. One of the biggest ones that have been happening recently was the up and coming Spanish Grand Prix. This could potentially be the last Spanish Grand Prix, not just in Catalonia, but altogether, well, for a while at least, as there are big rumours. Nothing's been officially confirmed, but there are big rumours that the Spanish Grand Prix could be changed for the Dutch Grand Prix. As I said, the Italian Grand Prix is going to secure I think it's about a 5-year deal till 2024, keeping that on the calendar. There was rumours that Silverstone had signed a deal for a couple of years with Formula 1. They have, whitewash them rumours. That's not happening at the moment, but they are in talks, which is good. And another track that's making the headlines for, for the wrong reasons, in a way, is the Brazilian Grand Prix, which has currently been held at Sao Paulo, the Interlagos circuit. That is a legendary track for Formula One. It's been, the home, I think it was it 1990? I think the first one, 1991. I think was when the first Grand Prix at Interlagos was held, and it's been host to some amazing Grand Prix. Ayrton Senna's amazing win when he was stuck in sixth gear in 1991. That's been amazing. Obviously the title fight in 2007. Kim Raikkonen winning it by 1 point. Hamilton in 2008 winning it on the last corner. Sebastian Vettel winning the championship on that racetrack as well. Button officially confirmed champion on that track. Loads of drivers have got massive memories, and fans as well have got memories on this circuit. But bad news, it could be all coming to an end, as they are planning to move the Grand Prix, or it's been announced by the Brazilian president that it's going to be moved to the capital, Rio de Janeiro. Now, this has been massively controversial since it was announced. And it's been, like, obviously for most Brazilian fans, it's just outrageous that they're moving from one side of Brazil to the other. It's just furious how they're just doing this. And, from Formula fans as well, they're just not they're not happy with this whatsoever. Me personally, like, I'm not, but I'm a one that, like I said, I'm not bothered about tracks moving from position. As long as you've got the big four, I'm fine. I'm not bothered where a race has been held. I'm not bothered that it could be in one location, it could be in another. As long as the racing's good, as long as people turn up, that's going to be fine. But if people don't turn up, that's when things will get nasty. So if this Grand Prix track that hasn't been built yet, by the way, guys, I'll get on that in a bit. Let's say nobody comes to this Grand Prix, then I'll be like, well, then what's the point in hosting it? You may as well go back to Interlagos. I mean, the crowd in Interlagos is absolutely incredible. One of the best. I mean, the South American fans in Formula One, Brazil, Mexico, absolutely unbelievable. It's like a carnival every single time you go there, and I would love to go there to either one of those Grand Prix, preferably Brazil, Senna's legacy, of course, and obviously their massive legacy, of Brazilian Formula One drivers and their sport in general, football as well, obviously most famously as well. And yes, obviously the crowd there are absolutely incredible, and to move that to someplace else, I mean, if the crowd does turn up, then yes, I think the crowd will still be good, but probably not as good as Interlagos. And Interlagos, it holds history. It's like it's almost like an original circuit where, like, it can't be touched. It's like moving the Canadian Grand Prix as well. That will probably cause some outrage as well, because that's been on since 1970, 1980, I think it has, since it was held in Montreal. So again, if that was to move, that will become very, very controversial. So yes, the track hasn't been built yet, because when I seen these images, I literally thought, when I first seen this image, because I didn't see the headline, I just seen this image, I literally thought, oh, the change in Suzuka, the change the back, like, there must be changing the surroundings of the Suzuka Grand Prix circuit. But then when I looked into it, I thought, oh, the layout's different. But scrolled up, oh my god, the change of the Brazilian Grand Prix. You what? So obviously to the track, which is currently a former, or it is almost going to be a former military base. Sound familiar as well? Obviously on military grounds where Silverstone is currently held. And so the Brazilian president recently in a press conference said that he has been talking with the guys in Rio and the mayor of Rio that these are going to happen. It's been confirmed by himself, but no one from Sao Paulo circuit or from Formula One themselves have actually confirmed this at the time of recording, because by the time this video goes out, they might have been officially confirmed that things will be changing from Brazil next season. So it doesn't come as a surprise, because it's been played with, doubt whether Interlagos is ever going to be back, is ever going to make the calendar for the following season. It's been plagued by, obviously it needs upgrades. It's desperate for upgrades, isn't it? That's what a lot of people have been saying. It can't keep up with the cost of Formula One, and it's been a doubtful Grand Prix for quite some time. So to see it now, it doesn't come as a shock, but it's almost like a bit of like a reality check, if you like. It's like, all right, it's a bit of a threat. It's might go from the calendar, but when it officially gets announced, you're like, oh no, really? It actually is going to happen. Because in your head, you're just like, is it really going to happen? It hasn't really happened yet, so the reality hasn't sunk in. But when it does get confirmed, that's when reality will hit you. And I've seen loads of people on Twitter absolutely going acca about this. They're not impressed whatsoever. They should spend the time and the money to repair and to restore the Sao Paulo Interlagos circuit. That's what they should do at least, not changing it because to be fair, I mean, let's say they change, circuits. Well, if this circuit doesn't last a couple of years, then therefore racing in Brazil has gone altogether. And I think no racing in Brazil, that's just catastrophe. That's almost like as bad as having no race in Monza or no race in Monaco, no race in Silverstone. It's just as bad because, as I said, the fans are so passionate about the sport, most famously made from Ayrton Senna. His legacy is there from Brazil, so you don't really want to let that go. And they're taking a massive risk by moving it from a classic circuit to an unknown circuit, which isn't built yet. The president said it might take about 6 or 7 months. But what happens if there's delays? What happens if something happens drastically? They might get bad weather. They might get a month of rain, which will stop development, and hold back. Hold back proceedings, and before we know it, there'll be no Brazilian Grand Prix. They'll be unsure. Oh, is it coming? Is it not? What's going on? So I think they should have literally just stayed in Interlagos. They should have just done it all out, got it sorted out the contract as well, make the price a bit lower if they like, which I think they should do with most tracks, because they seem to be going where the money is at the moment, and Vietnam as well, and so they should be sorting tracks like that out. The classic ones. That's what they should be doing. I'm a bit disappointed they will be going, but at the same time I'm like, right. I can't. Yeah, I understand why people are fussed, but we will still watch the race on TV. I'm pretty sure that people will still go to the Grand Prix. Of course they will. It's Formula One. You can't say no to it, can you? It doesn't matter what they throw at the sport. You're not stop going to watch it. Maybe for the older generation, I understand, but for people like me and you, the younger generation, I don't think so, because I won't stop watching Formula One. Even if they get rid of the big four, the obviously Belgium, Italy, Monaco, and Silverstone, I'm still going to watch the sport. Of course I will. I'm addicted to it. So like just changing a couple of things here and there isn't going to affect much. We're just going to have more say on it. And so yes, obviously I've had my say on it as well. Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. I do want to hear your opinions about everything I've said on this video, as well about the TOTO WOLFF to Formula One, to the CEO of Formula One, the Brazilian Grand Prix to be changed from from Sao Paulo to Rio. What do you make of that? Are you happy? Are you not happy? Do you like the sound of this new circuit? Do you like the look of this new circuit? Are you a fan of it? Yes, no? Let me know in the comment section below. But this is where I'm going to wrap up this episode. Thank you very much for watching as well. You've been great as always. If you're new around here, as like I said, please like and subscribe as well. Don't forget to check out our Spanish Grand Prix preview, which came out on Thursday. And tune in tomorrow, probably about, I want to say about 4:30, 5 o'clock UK time, when our review of the Spanish Grand Prix will be going live. Be sure that you'll see my ugly mug there, because that's exactly where I'm going to be. Just me, no Lau's opinions as well. I don't think he's going to send his opinion. He might do, I don't know. But other than that, it's just going to be yours truly for the next Grand Prix in Spain and in Monaco. So anyways guys, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later.